folks, how's it going out in the woods? It's a bit of a nippy one this morning, believe it or not. Frosty coming in, and it's -2 at the moment, which, you know, in some of your colder countries, you know, that's obviously like, that's just like having tropical conditions in our country. But yeah, it's -2 at the moment. So obviously being in the woods, you know, you've always got that little bit of a microclimate, haven't you? Especially when it's quite dense like this, even though it is, you know, sort of like the colder winter months. So I'm going to start setting my bits up. I'm only out for the day. Yeah, so before Christmas, I was having a hunt around on Amazon, or just having a little trawl on the internet in general really, and I wanted to get some kind of orange sheet with the old sort of silver sort of mylar backing, if you like, just to try out. I've kind of got this as a ground sheet, but for the teepee, if I'm hot tenting, but I also wanted to try it out just as a kind of like an emergency shelter, because obviously it's got that orange backing to it. Now what I did do when I looked into it, I wanted to make sure that I wanted something longer. I've seen a lot of you know, videos on YouTube, and you know, they're showing you quite short emergency blankets, which are great if you obviously want to pack them down. But being the height that I am, I'm 6'3", and as much as I do sometimes like to sleep in the fetal position, I also like to sleep quite straight as well on my side. So I obviously opted for something that was a little bit longer. So with that in mind, you've obviously got to bear that, you know, if you know, depending on what you want to use it, if it is going to be an emergency shelter, are you going to want to allow for those kind of you know, are you going to want for those allowances? But that's, you know, your decision, you'll make that up. So never set it out before, alright, so we'll give it a go, alright, see what it's all about. I never got sent it, alright. I purchased this myself off Amazon from a company called U-Tool, I think, or something like that. So it kind of ticked the boxes, the fact that I wanted it orange with the silver backing, and it's longer in length as well. Alright, so let's set it up. The thing about this as well is if I wanted to set it up as to use it as a super shelter, I think it's going to be a little bit better than, because obviously it's got the orange material, the silver backing already, so I haven't obviously got to put a mylar sheet in it like you would have seen in the other video. If you haven't done, I'll put a card up for you to go and have a look at it. Well, a bit of bad admin on my behalf, because I've obviously brought out that orange sheet to try out. I've taken the poncho out and it's got the rapid ridge line in now. And where's that? It's on the it's on my worktop in the shed, so I'm going to have to use some other materials. Right, so I had to improvise a tiny bit, alright, admittedly, because obviously the cord that I'm using for the ridge line is very thin, and the only other sort of cord that I had in that I use as my guy lines on my poncho and obviously that's thicker, so that's taken, I've had to sort of triple that up as a prusik loop. But it's, you know, it's up. Alright, so as you can see there from the length, it's, well, it's probably a bit hard for you to gauge unless I sort of get under it and show you on the camera, which I probably will do. But it's a little bit more spacey than some of the other ones that I've seen. It's just got 4 tie-out points. How long those eyelets will last is anyone's guess. But you know, by sort of doing it this way rather than tying the guy line straight into the eyelet and putting all the stress on there, I've literally just put a stick through, looped it, and then obviously a stick through there, through that loop, and then obviously that should obviously give it a little bit more longevity on the eyelets. So there is only 4 tie-out points, and that's I've literally set it up, as you can see, as a simple lean-to. So let's get under there and I'll show you the length. Yeah, so we're still kind of at our limit a little bit, being at 6'3", but obviously if you're someone a little bit shorter, I think it's got a little bit more length than the poncho, or maybe about the same. But for an emergency kind of setup, or especially taking advantage of the silver stuff, because I want to have a try this as a super shelter as well. But yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, it's all right. It's okay. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to have a little fire out the front there. And obviously benefit from the heat of the fire. Unfortunately, the thing is, when you buy these sort of emergency blankets, because they are kind of termed as emergency blankets, I think it's sort of you know, governing the size, the length and everything else. I think this one's quite slightly longer and wider than some of the others that are on the market, but you know, you have to sort of just weigh it up a little bit. But you know, I mean, this still packs up quite bulky, I think, considering. But yeah, it's all right, I think. You know, it is what it is. Emergency. Even if I, you know, if I sort of slept in the fetal position, I'd be fine. You know, but I like to, as I say, check the length of it as well. Let's get fire going. Right, I was going to light a fire, but there's quite a lot of pine here still, and there's a little bit of pine needles and stuff on the floor, so obviously I want to avoid starting ground fires and such like. So what I'm doing, I'm just going to use my stove instead, and use that. Probably put that on a wooden platform as well, just to keep it off the floor slightly. Obviously, one, because it get a bit of airflow, but obviously number 2 as well, because the last thing, as I say, I don't want to start some sort of ground fire or anything, especially with the pine needles being around. So I'm going to opt for me stove. So I won't have a full blown fire at the front here. I'm just going to use the stove. So the top there, now the only thing with that, obviously, with it, it's balancing on a couple of sticks now, so there's quite a few bits of pine in here. So what I'm doing is I'm actually looking for some pine resin, and it looks like I found some just up there, look. So I'm going to scrape some of that off and take it back. I've got a little bag, I'm going to collect some into there. Oh yeah, I just got a bit of hazel, it's green. And, just fashioning it up. So a little wedge on one side, and then lucky enough, as it goes, when I found the found a bit of hazel, I've got that lump there, and there's also some on that tree there behind me as well. So I'm going to hopefully I can get a nice little collection of pine resin. Let's see what I can get. I've got a plastic bag as well, so I can collect some into. It's quite sticky, so I'm just putting on a pair of gloves. Yeah, it just for everything, doesn't it? Oh, such a lovely smell. Lovely. Ooh. I lost a bit of that there. That's on the floor, I'll get that after. And there's obviously some more there that I can collect. So I've got something getting on with, but obviously I want to get more, because obviously I want this to make some pine pitch. So it's a start. I'll have another little hunt around, see if I can find any more, and if I do, I'll obviously show you it. Have a look at it. Not a bad little gem now. That's still quite fresh, some of that as well. But that is really out of arm's reach, unless I sort of get another stick of some kind. Oh, might be lucky. Just get those bits up there. It's just out of reach really, unless I get another. And just while I'm walking around as well, sort of over in that direction is where my the orange lean-to set up. So obviously quite a handy bit of kit in a kind of emergency kind of situation, I suppose. Kind of its own really. How useful some of that orange material is.